Hi people, welcome to another episode of Inlaws Diaries. I still remain your girl, Mariam Chinadu. Today with me I have a guest that we actually went to uni. There's a story behind this guest. We actually went to uni together and we have mutual friends, but we didn't used to talk in uni. And then our paths crossed again after uni. And here we are today. Her name is Mansoura. So guys, I have Mansoura here, and it's actually funny how, you know, when you have a friend that you actually have mutual friends together, and then you're probably just thinking that this one out of them doesn't talk, or she's probably
she's
like quiet, you don't know. But then you now find yourself in the same space with her, and they're like, actually, she's not that bad. Like she's actually not that bad. Maybe I was the one that didn't get to know you. I just felt like she's just quiet, don't go close, you know. And it's actually good to have you here. What does it feel like being in Lagos? Actually, again, she's an Abuja person. She's the CEO of Parade. So, and that actually takes me to you Abuja people and your wahala, because which is you don't want Lagos traffic, you don't want Lagos wahala, and Lagos is a hustle. Abuja is so calm. Come to Lagos. Now that you're in Lagos, are you not happy?
I am happy. I mean, like this trip in particular has been one that has sort of ticked all the boxes for me. So,
really?
Yeah.
So you
for
don't
the
mind
first time
moving
in
to Lagos?
That's not taking it too far.
No, but you're bringing your business
one
to
step
Lagos.
at a time.
So tell me, you're going to come to Lagos, establish a business, and then be in Abuja.
Don't let the people of the outside hear this. We're coming to Lagos, that's all that matters.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, no problem. We can't wait to have you in Lagos. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
In a very short notice.
I mean, you're good people, so we'll do this for you.
See, that's part of what I said, guys.
We'll do this for you.
Good people. Okay, so moving on. Our topic for today is dynamics of living with in-laws.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, I know that it's a bit tricky. I mean, we've heard people say they actually did not enjoy the experience living with their in-laws.
Yeah.
And some have had like amazing moments and memories living with their in-laws. So we want you to tell us, because
where do I follow?
Where do you fall under? Like,
Okay.
have you been in either of the situations? And tell us.
So I think for me, it's an interesting topic, and I'll start it from like the two sets of people that we have, or maybe even three now. Now that we've brought in a third angle.
Yeah.
So there's a first set of people who have never lived with their in-laws, but have an idea of what it is like to live with an in-law.
But how do you have an idea when you've never even been in the same space with them?
It's the same way people will be like, why would I eat this kind of food? You've never tasted it. Until you taste it, you won't know what it feels like or what it tastes like.
True.
But then there are some people that just go into things preconceived notions, or they're just preconditioned to say, oh, this thing can never be
work.
good.
Yeah.
And so if they find themselves there, even if it is good, or
because
things
they already went in there with that
exactly, they're like, this
it's
thing
not
can
just
be
working.
good. Yeah. So there is that set of people. There's another set of people who have, of course, lived experiences. Things haven't been rosy for them, and then the other people that, you know, it's just fine, it's just what it is. We're just here. So I think I fall into that category of we're here and it's beautiful. So I lived with my in-laws for about 3 years. I've been married for like say 5 years. So
really?
I lived with them more than I've lived outside of, you know, just
being
me
married.
and my nuclear family,
nice.
which is really it's been good. I keep telling people the only reason why I left my in-laws was our family started to get bigger, so we have a kid, and obviously like of course, you know, not to go into details, but we did need our space, and it's, you know, we're starting to feel choked. Then I think in addition to that is when you're raising a kid, there's a certain lifestyle that you want for that kid, or a certain path that you want that kid to follow. As everybody would agree, if you have African parents, people have said it, and we believe African grandparents don't like their children like they like their grandchildren. It's weird.
So are you saying that at some point you felt that they were rubbing off? So
it is that all the attention goes to the child. So I can't tell her, for example, if
are you serious? Are you having issues with that?
It's not jealousy. It's more like I don't want her to have more than 3 wraps of sweets in a day. But she knows I can go cry to grandma, and grandma will be like, okay, let's just give half, just half. And then she'll come up and say, oh, the half is still there. Who's going to eat it? You know, just give her.
Just take it.
So, like, kids easily can get away with things when the grandparents are there. And of course, you know, so there's this thing of when you're in a space, because because you know that these people are amazing, you also don't want to offend them. And you don't want to offend them, coming especially through the child. I get edgy with my daughter. Like, I want you to be a wonderful, I know she's a wonderful girl, wonderful child. And maybe now that we're also becoming parents, we can see how sometimes you want to be strict, like, oh my God, the world's very crazy.
Get away with things.
And so for that reason, I think primarily it was that, we needed our own space, one. And then secondly, it was, this girl is going to start removing, like you're about to say, eating from her body. And we were like, okay, let's just take it a step.
Space that we have, you telling me that she's still...
So it's not exactly, but here's the thing, because my in-laws are really amazing people. So when we say in-laws, of course, it's not
not all in-laws are bad. Tell them again.
No, not all in-laws are bad.
Not all in-laws
are
bad.
It starts to feel like in-laws is like a label. There are people like you, like your parents, like your siblings.
Exactly, and that's why I keep saying that no matter where you find yourself, with in-laws is actually a relationship, it's still the same way you have a relationship with your siblings.
Absolutely.
And then you're meeting people. So I just say every time, try to understand who you're going to meet, your in-laws. Everybody has their flaws.
Yeah.
So long you know that this person is this person, I'm sure there will never be clashing. I can tell you literally that my mom till today says it, that she had the most amazing time with her mother-in-law. I'm telling you, she actually...
And for that generation.
And she lived with my mother, my grandma, with her mother-in-law. And my dad used to live in Kwara.
Okay.
His mom was in Kaduna. So she literally was there. He used to come and visit. And she still says it till today that she had the best time with her. Like, even when she moved to meet my dad, she was still like, I don't mind going back. I have the
best time with my mother-in-law.
She's like, I don't mind going back to this woman. It was my dad that was like, you're married. Like, are you married to her?
To
or
her,
married
to me.
Yeah, so they are actually good in-laws. And yes, we're still hearing from you.
It's interesting because, so first of all, it's people will always be people. Like, I think we need to understand that. And it's cliche to say, but we're from different backgrounds. I think it's almost impossible to be married into a family where you guys have similar backgrounds. Like, everything is the same way. Maybe it happens, but like, it's 1 in a million that we all think the same way, we do things the same way.
I'm sure that's a very thin.
Very, very, like the chances are very slim. So when you understand that, it is... When you talk about human interaction, some things will happen. It's then, what do you want out of this for yourself? So interestingly, when my husband and I were going into the marriage, there was a ground rule, which was saying, no matter what happens, we're together. See all these 4 parents, they're on their own. And you would see that happened with our wedding. So I didn't have the typical wedding because I didn't want it.
Okay.
And it was good to be able to do that because we were on the same page.
Yeah.
We had a wedding, we had the nikah in the morning. It was small. But then I knew they were expecting something bigger. Let's do the fairy tale. I'm like, I'm not having that. Sorry, guys. So we did a dinner. Now, with the dinner, on both sides, now my parents and his parents had thought, once you dinner, they're not including us in their plans, but we know they will invite us. Guess what?
They came with their
We didn't invite them. Because we were so sure. Like, I know my parents, for example, and he knows his parents. Yes. So they'll be like, so which of our friends are we going to call? Which ones will we not call? It's a wedding. Like, it's not a wedding. It's my dinner. And it's our dinner. My close friends, exactly, with the young people. Yeah. Because we don't want to chase you out of the hall when we're ready to make it. Until today, like, they tease us like, a shati dinner. Only God knows what you people did at the dinner that we couldn't come.
But you didn't want us to come and see.
That ground rule has also made things so when you started thinking a certain way, but you have your partner or your husband who's there to say, I know my parents, this is not what they mean, this is not how they mean it.
Yeah.
So, again, remember that it is you and I here and not away from every other person. I think that really, really did work. But aside all of that, my parents-in-law, they're awesome people. My siblings-in-law, amazing.
Nice. Yeah, so moving on, Ashura. Okay, so you said you at some point, yeah, you needed your space and you guys had to leave. So how were you able to navigate your way around that? Like, was there, I mean, how did you discuss it with your mother-in-law? Or was it you and your husband? Or did she actually feel like, did I do something? Why did you leave me? You're taking my grandchild. Yeah.
There was that.
There was that.
There was that. Like, are we going to be seeing her? How many times?
Oh, were you guys moving out of town?
No, it was just away from this house to our own house. But I think they had just sort of, created that bond, and it's beautiful to see. Oh, so the thing is, my husband is the only child who's in Nigeria. All his other siblings are out of the country, so the other grandchildren are not in Nigeria. So it's just my daughter in Nigeria. So navigating that transition we had to have the conversation. So it was first of all between my husband and I, like, why are we doing this? We know why we're doing this.
How is it the boss?
Exactly. And it's nothing like, we don't want to be here. Man, it was free food, free lights.
You guys are saving all your high-earned
money that, those 3 years, and it was nice. It was nice. So it was, how do you create that balance to say, okay, it's more a necessity than we just want to up and leave.
Yeah.
If we had the chick, it was just me and him. I'm already here, except other things once they happen and come up. So it was having that conversation and making them see that it's important that we leave. We need our own space for these reasons. And I think it was so easy to sell to them because they could understand that. Yes, it was just when I'm going to say a grandchild. How often?
So you guys had to do a timetable that don't worry.
It's interesting as we speak. She's been with them for like a week, and the moment she comes back, we have to do like 1 week of learning, the washing her hair, because she's
like you're back home.
Exactly, and this is like a new reality, like this is not grandma's house. Because she remembered like, grandma doesn't talk to me that way, so I'm not grandma. I am mommy. So it's interesting, and I'm just gonna touch a bit on the kind of in-laws that I have. I'm comfortable enough to leave my child with them for so long, knowing that they're not coming back to be. It's just that comfort, that she's in a good space. In a good place. Yeah.
And even though she's going to get scolded, that, but
it's from a good place still. It's from a good place still. I think one thing that stands out with living with my in-laws was there was no unnecessary tussle. There was no power play. So you'd hear that people have these instances where I hate to like box things, where people box things, but I'll just give a common example, which is it's typically mother-in-law and daughter-in-law.
Yeah.
And it is this is the son that I've raised for how many years? My husband is the only son. He has 3 sisters. But
how are you dealing with
So here's the thing, my mother-in-law is
Are you not sharing their brother?
Well, exactly, no, we're not. My mother-in-law is so unconventional, first of all. And then, there's just this sincerity that comes with the relationship that she builds. And I think that if everyone, and I'm saying this especially to mothers-in-law.
Yeah.
If I'm leaving my house, my family, and I'm coming to yours, accept that person. I'm not perfect. When my mom and when I was getting into the marriage, my mom actually met my mother-in-law and said to her, this child, of all the kids that I have, she's the most spoiled child. Just take her. She never means it from. It's never from a place of disrespect. She's just. If you tell her do something, she can ask you why. Why do I need to do that?
Yeah.
Or she will tell you, I'm not comfortable with it, so I'm not going to do it. So it's not that because I'm older now. There's a balance that you have to strike and say, maybe let's not do that. Or actually even bend my back a little and say, okay, this one. Let's do this one. Well, these 9 other ones.
No,
sorry. So it's also more accept people for who they are. So the way we're saying, daughters-in-law, respect your parents, respect your in-laws, your parents-in-law, they're as good as your parents. I think it's also vice versa. Mothers-in-law, fathers-in-law. We're as good enough as
sorry to cut you. And then, like you said, that it's actually it's actually like a very thin sense of finding 2 people that
are exactly
the same way. So which actually takes me to you're coming. So there are incidents that we hear of, scenarios that we hear of, like you're going into a family that is a polygamous family, and you are coming from a family of mother, father, brother, sister, which is actually it's a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
Whoever is moving, transitioning into that kind of family.
Yeah.
And like you said, the mother-in-laws should actually, because sometimes some things happen and then it's not actually coming from a bad place.
Yeah.
It's just the understanding. Because for someone that is coming from mother, father, and then goes into
experiences are so different.
Do you understand? Goes into polygamous family,
Yeah.
where you know that some enemies of your mother-in-laws are naturally your own enemies. And I'm like, this person didn't do anything to me. I don't even know. I don't know what. Do you understand? I don't know what's causing this. Like, why should I be the enemy to that person?
So look at that person who then has to also position herself to say, I can't be too friendly with this other woman because you're not exactly my mother-in-law.
Do you understand? So that's what I'm like. It's
the dynamics are insane. It's interesting. I'm from a polygamous family.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's
it's
the dynamics are. It's a different kind of polygamous.
Yeah.
Family.
So because constantly I keep telling people that the way we were brought up is actually a very deep. What's the word to use now? It's something that we should all consider in every type of relationship we find ourselves. Either marriage, friendship, boyfriend, girlfriend, because it actually tells a lot on the kind of person we grow to be. Yeah. And then for in-laws, it's a different dynamic, like completely, because I've heard stories. Do
you think that sometimes, because we constantly say this, they are in-laws, yes, which is like, it is a social construct, right? It was English.
Yeah.
So do you think that sometimes we tend to put like pressure? In-law, mother-in-law, you're supposed to treat
because I mean, some people already go in with the notion of, these are my in-laws. We've heard stories.
Exactly,
I can't. Like, hey, don't let me overdo this before they go and call family matter.
And that's what having in-laws done.
I've had people that called me, sent in stories, and which, like, that's why we have the Keep Me Anonymous series on the Instagram page. I've had people tell me that, you know what, I have something to say. I want people to advise me on this, but I don't want to come on live. I don't want people to know that I am the one that said this. And I'm like, that's okay. That's fine. Because I also have some things that I probably don't want.
It's never perfect, is it?
Do you understand? So I'm like, okay. And then somebody had, so this dynamics of living with in-laws. So there's a story that we haven't put on our Instagram page, but somebody has said that she lives with her in-laws, and she noticed that her mother-in-law is a keeper. Yes, so like literally, her mother-in-law keeps things, like, so for everything her mother, and so
keeps things like physical things or things in her mind.
Physical things, like, for everything that she has to use in the house, her mother-in-law expects that she tells her that I want to use this in the kitchen. I want to use that in the kitchen.
She'd be irritated by that.
I want to. Do you understand? And she's like, I cannot get my mind off it. Like she's like, I really want to tell her that
it's not a big
deal. And I'm like, tell her if that's how you feel. But you know what? Tell her in a way that you know that it's not going to be offensive to her. And she's like, yes, that she feels like she wants to tell her. And then she feels like, should she tell her husband? Like, no. The husband does not have any reason to know about it. If he wants to know about it, then let him hear from his mother. You are the one that has issues with the mother. Tell her so you can have the relationship with her. You shouldn't You shouldn't come through your husband. If you want to go have a relationship with her, then
you don't need a middleman.
Yeah. So I've heard stories about, and when people talk about living with them, like, funny enough, mommy always says that she had a very good like, so why is it an issue? Like, living with in-laws, I lived with my in-laws for a very short period actually. The only problem that I had living with my in-laws was because, so my husband was not in Nigeria, like he doesn't work here, and I was in their space while he was at work. He wasn't there, so I feel like it wasn't like
different dynamic entirely.
I felt lost. I was like, he just abandoned me. He left me with a child here, and I'm just here in their space. And guess what? they loved me because I mean the first grandson, everybody was around my face, but I just felt like it's just the child. It's just the child that people are looking at. What about me? My husband has left me here. He has gone far away. I'm just here, and that was like one bad time that I had with them. Even though I know we had,
and that was probably more from you as well.
From me, do you understand? Like and even for the times that we were in each other's space.
Yeah.
There was a time that I and my mother-in-law had an issue, and I went to her. I'm like, Mommy, I didn't know that this thing meant this to you. I'm sorry about it. Even though in my mind I knew that I didn't know that Mommy would take this thing that deep for me. Allah forgive her sins because she's late now. But I said to her, I'm like, I didn't know that this thing meant this to you, and I apologized to her. So sometimes you actually should have
people like you that give problems to younger ones, because there's a young girl somewhere who doesn't know that.
No, it's not like we've not had issues and
it's not like young girls are like, Mommy being okay, she'll be alright when she's
she'll be alright. The day that you need Mommy, she will tell you that you want her, you'll be alright. Do you understand?
I want to bring a different angle to this, right? Do you think that sometimes, or I think that, many people have all these in-law issues.
Yes.
This is also that the in-laws, they have certain problems in their family. And now you are the second person that you're coming. So imagine that, they've created this persona and people from outside can only see it from outside. Now you are going inside and then you're not open all the yarn shop. No, we don't want
I mean, somebody takes me to another story. Someone has said one time that her mother-in-law had issues with her brother-in-law's wife.
Interesting.
Yeah. So her husband has a brother.
Yeah.
Has 2 sons. Okay. And then so her mother-in-law had issues with the other wife. Yeah. And then she didn't know. She wasn't even married. She wasn't even married to them yet. I mean, she was still dating.
Yeah.
And then she went to see her mother-in-law, and then in the middle she was just like, I'm even coming from so house. And in her mother-in-law's words, Magba bode for me. I don't want you visiting them. I don't want you having anything to do with them.
So that's me inheriting an enemy that has done it.
And this is somebody that isn't married to the family. Tell me how she's not going to get home and be like,
did she get married to them?
Well, things, my matter, you can't put mouth. You can't put mouth. Even if you say, this kind of mother-in-law, she'll tell you, who is the man I'm married to? Is not
I've
mother-in-law.
also seen cases so like this, for example. I've heard of and I've seen cases where 2 brothers, 2 girls are coming to the family, and they just seem to, gravitate more towards one person than the other. And it's not necessarily that I have done anything. I just prefer this person.
Don't you think that would actually make the other person feel bad?
Yeah, you will feel, but I'm just saying, like, it's a different kind of dynamic as well. For whatever, so sometimes, when these issues happen, I tell myself, it's not always about you.
It's about
sometimes
them. It could be about
these people, and it's how you then want to respond. Me, everybody knows me. I'm all for live your life and enjoy it. Say, they will say this. They will say that, okay, I don't care. Can we curse on this?
I know.
Can we curse on this podcast?
I know.
F-U-C-K-I-E. I know you're right.
I know you're right.
Because if you also keep again, this is just bringing into dynamics of living with in-laws or interacting with in-laws. If you enter into a space where you're not being authentic from the very first day. Or me, people know that I don't know how to
pretend.
I don't know how to kneel down to greet you. I don't know how to do it. Because my parents had had shake your. I mean, it's just not that we even hug. I used to just shake my father's hands. And that's it. Right? So you want me to? I'm going into a space where my in-laws don't care for all of this thing.
Yeah.
But imagine if I was married to another family
that you have to go
with your 2 legs and they must hear that back. From where we're going to have issues
because
but then you probably have a partner who is saying just do it. It's not just to kneel down. So I start to kneel down. The next month the next one is something so now you've entered, you think you're a queen. These things and again maybe this brings me back to tradition and religion have like huge roles to play when it comes to this.
And then people choose the ones
pick and choose that just suits
them. So which will actually be one of our other topics.
It'll be interesting to see.
Because there are traditions and there are beliefs, there are religion, but it's sad that people actually choose the ones that suits them, and it has actually come to play in so many marriages. Not even
especially
marriages are actually suffering in that aspect.
Absolutely.
And I pray that whichever you're leaning towards, whoever is leaning to, it works for you, and it's not working against you. It's actually been a very, very interesting.
One more thing.
Yeah, tell us before you go.
So, we've spoken a lot about in-laws. When people talk about in-laws, who are we talking about? Mother-in-law, father. These siblings. They are brother-in-laws, so they are like sisters-in-law that are crazy. I mean, I've heard of,
Tell us
one that I've heard.
To close up.
That I've heard. Yeah. So, there's a family that I know of that this lady is married to their brother.
Yeah.
And you'd hear the brother make remarks like, I prefer my sister's food. And the sister, who's also married in her own husband's house, is the one that now cooks food and sends food. Now, I don't have a problem with that. It's fine. Like, that in itself is fine. It's an altruistic thing. You're being kind. That's fine. But to now, go out and say, this is for my brother. Which brother? In this house? We're gonna eat it together.
Wow.
So there's that, I'm distinctively giving this to my, as against I'm doing it for the family. Like, you guys are my people.
And I'm sure that actually makes her feel so terrible.
I mean, if I were to advise this person, the moment they bring that food, open it up, eat half, eat 3/4 of it,
and leave
when the brother comes, so when I go there, I've eaten my way, you come late. So
you're nice, because I don't even want to say what I'll do, but you are nice. Because for me, I think that food won't even get to my house. It won't get to my house because why? Yeah, like why do you send food to him? If I'll marry him. Oh yeah, take him and marry him now. Like, take him, let him be your husband. But trust me, we hear a lot of stories. We hear like terrible, good, bad, brother-in-law, sister-in-law. But then again, it still takes us back to traditions, beliefs, and what we choose to take. Because honestly, we can go on and on and on. But it still boils down to what we choose. And I pray that, while we're choosing, we choose the right one and not the wrong one. Because we can actually miss it sometimes. Even we are people, like, we're not flawless. So.
Like, the world is tough enough. Let's just make it simpler for the other person, to be honest.
Let's not even go into the world being tough. Because today alone, the world has been tough. The world has been going to the bank this morning. No, I don't want
to soften you up a little.
No, don't worry.
That's like in-law, then call me. I've been calling you since morning. How dare you not pick my call?
I'll just be like, in all of this that I'm going through this call. Only if it's money matter call. I'll be.
We should just make things simpler for ourselves.
For everyone, and just live life, because this life is simple, like you said. We all live here one day. All these fights, my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law, everybody will get to heaven and will not even know who is brother. Do you understand? We're striving to say, God, I don't want to go into hell. Please put me in heaven. You understand? But it's actually nice having you here.
So much.
Thank you. Hopefully, when you come back to Lagos again, we'll bring you, and then you can tell us more about her goal. Her ride.
You changed it for us.
Her ride. Anyways, whatever. You shall know.
Take her as a product.
Her goal. Hey, you see, when you come to Lagos now, you can add that one to one of the subsidiaries of the company. But
thank you so much.
Thank you for coming here. Yes,
thank you.
So guys, please, here you have it. Wait till we put it on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe. I've been begging you people to subscribe. Don't worry, I'm gonna do a short video. And be crying that you should subscribe. Thank you. It's been a wonderful experience. It's been a wonderful episode. Bye. See you next time.
Bye-bye.